What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. Sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled programming, but you're here with Jonathon Johnson and my beautiful co-host, Joan Vassos. And we're going to be talking about everything Golden Bachelor from episode 5.
Can you believe it? And we're here subbing in for Serena and Joe, who are traveling today. So you're stuck with Jonathon and I, but we have a lot to talk about. So happy to be here.
Beyond happy to be here. Well, Joan, if you want to start us off, go for it.
You want me to start?
I'll just kind of play off you. Yeah, go for
it. Okay. Well, first of all, my first thoughts about this episode is the house looks so empty. 6 people are so few, and I feel like we got there really quickly. I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
This
is just flown? We only have 6 left.
Well, what do we start with? 24? 25?
25? I don't know. We are 6. We were at 6. We're getting down to 3. So we have 6 right now.
Hometowns already after episode 5 is insane.
And that's a little bit of a shock when Jesse came in and said there's only going to be 3 hometowns. So on my season, I had 4, and most seasons have 4. But I do remember back to Golden Bachelor, and he only had 3 also. So they're kind of like the Golden Bachelors seem to only do 3, which seems like not very many. Although as someone who was a lead and did hometowns, they're exhausting. So I can see why maybe they're only doing 3. But I just feel like the house is so empty and there's only 6 of them left. And it just seems like there's so much less energy in the air now. And it's all very subdued.
Yeah. And the whole dynamic of the women left too is insane. And I know I'm jumping ahead, but I'm really excited to talk about who's left.
Yeah.
But everything that had led up to this moment, all the spiritual journeys he was doing with people and the one-on-one, it was all very... It was an episode that needed to happen, for sure.
Well, Bachelor loves to do those awkward episodes where you do all this really spiritual stuff with these virtual strangers. And I had to do it on my season. I did it with Pascal. We were both we wanted to get out of there as fast as we possibly could. Because it's so uncomfortable. But weirdly, okay, I know we're going to get into this. We're probably jumping ahead, but Mel embraced it a little more than I expected him to. But let's talk. Let's talk kind of from the beginning to the end. Otherwise, you and I are just going to get off on a tangent.
Yeah, we're going to
never come back. Yeah, we know how we are. So 6 ladies left. And I remember it started out with the 2 who had never had one-on-one dates talking. So it was Carol and Cindy sitting there, and they were both wow, this is a really important day because hometowns are next week or tomorrow or whatever, really soon. And neither one of us have had a date yet. And I remember Carol saying, I don't think if I don't get a date, I don't think I can get to where I need to be with Mel. And I don't know if she was talking about herself or Mel. She didn't think would know her well enough, but whatever. She kind of just said that right out. And Cindy was really kind. And she said, you've had kind of a slow burn and give it some time. I feel like you're on the fast track now and things are going better for you, which, how nice is Cindy, who also had not had a one-on-one date yet. So I feel like she was really, really kind. And then, of course, Jesse enters. And I also remember from, I think, those beginning conversations where Nicole, and she's a whole conversation we need to have, by the way. Nicole, there's a lot to talk about. Nicole seems to be very confident about the whole thing. If I can manifest it, it can happen. If I believe it, I can manifest it, and then it's going to happen. And I feel really confident. And I feel like Mel and I have this deep connection. So she's seeming very confident. Everybody else seems not particularly confident to me.
No, and I can't tell if Nicole's is a real confidence or she's doing it for the bit. You know what I mean? Obviously a lot of what she's talked about this last episode is I'm here to build social media career and monetize myself and this and that. And I'm okay, yeah, she has a lot of confidence in the way that she goes about what she's doing. But is that confidence from an internal place, or is she just really good at following the storyline that she has set in her head? You know what I mean? There's a difference to acting confidently for your own self-interest in a positive, good way. And there's a way of doing it in a professional way. I have a job to do. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to get it done. You know what I mean? So which way is she confident in?
I'm trying to figure out what her job is here. And we all expect it. She's there because she wants to find love and she wants to connect with Mel. But I'm not really very confident that that's what it is. Or that she kind of wants both, but the Mel part is just the second part of her journey, not the main part.
Yeah.
If she ended up with Mel, we'll get to this later in the episode because she does say some very strange things when they were having kind of their last one-on-one. But I think we should probably talk about okay, here we go. A date card enters.
Yeah.
Right. And so So the two people that are really, really invested in this date card are Carol and Cindy because they haven't
Yep.
had a
Only
date
ones that
yet.
haven't had one. Yep.
And like, can somebody? Okay, I want to ask you this question: can somebody get a hometown visit without ever having had a date?
Yeah, I think somebody did on Grant's season last year. Zoe had
Can
hers.
happen.
So it is a possibility for somebody to do it. But I think the unsettling, uneasy like nature of it, like to be like, hey, I'm gonna bring you home to meet my family and potentially get engaged. You're like, oh, I've spent a total of 2 hours with this person, 4 hours with this person. It kind of fluctuates. Like I
Yeah,
can see where her uncomfortability in doing so would come from. And obviously
yeah.
we learn later on that she decides to self-eliminate, but
So
like
self-eliminate. So
you
it'd
can
be
you can
uncomfortable.
understand why she puts so much pressure behind this. And Cindy too. I think Cindy is a little bit more confident in their relationship, or maybe she was
Yeah,
just better at like hiding like the, I don't know, like the
the angst of it. Yeah.
uneasiness from it. But
Well, and I feel like we've seen very little of Cindy's one-on-one interactions with Mel. She seems very confident, and she
hmm
feels like she's falling in love. She said she has such strong feelings, but we've seen so little from her. I don't know, for some reason she hasn't got a lot of airtime, and maybe Carol has had a little bit more, but Carol's airtime seemed very uncomfortable and a little awkward. Like she had a hard time
yeah,
talking to
I
him.
will say though, I love that she owned it. I think a lot of
Yeah.
like people can relate to it too, because when you're a good looking person, people like expect things from you, or you should be like this, or
Mhm.
they expect you to be like this outgoing, confident person. And I think there's a lot of people
Yeah.
out there like that can relate to like, oh my God, like she
I'm
kind
so
of
awkward.
humanizes a situation where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm a beautiful person, but like I get awkward too. You know, she's like,
Yeah.
it's been, what was it? She said like 7 years,
7 years
seven
since she's had
years
somebody.
since she's had
No,
somebody.
I think
You know,
no, that was
you
Cindy. Cindy was
was
7 years.
it
I don't know how long Carol has been, but it may be 7. But it's been a long
still,
time for her.
yeah,
Also, you're
a
right.
long period of time to jump
Yep.
back into it and still feel that like, oh my God, I'm like a little kid again. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
uncomfortable.
excited,
I
but
don't
I
know
don't know
how to
what to
talk
do.
to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And it's
actually
like
really cute.
there's something like very just like heartwarming about it, and it's easy to connect to. You know, it's a
Hmm.
very relatable thing.
I totally agree with you. So Mel comes. So Jesse comes in. He drops a date card. Okay, of
Yep.
course, and Cindy and Carol are sitting there, like really, a little nervous. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, we know the 4 people that were called. So they called Peg, who was reading the date card,
Yep.
and
Love Peg.
Debbie and Cheryl and Nicole were all called. And then the last
Yep.
one they called was Carol. So like
Yep.
you see the two of them are waiting for their names, and the last name was called was Carol. So Carol didn't get the one-on-one. And she comments, like I time is running short and I'm running out of time. So she
Yep.
knows that that's
Yep.
going to be really hard. But I also love, and Mel did the same thing I did on my season. When you go into like these last few dates and it's going into hometowns, like I said, I'm not going to give out any roses on dates because it locks you in to something like, so let's say he would have given out a rose on the group date and on the
Yep.
individual date. He would have only had one rose left at the rose ceremony. There would have
Yeah.
been one rose sitting there. So I feel like he did a good job in saying I'm not going to give roses out on either the group date or the one-on-one date because I think he needs like eliminating 3 people is a lot. You're eliminating
Yeah.
half the people that are there. So I
Yeah.
think that was like a really smart decision.
I thought when he was at Griffith Park, and I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit
Yeah,
with
yeah. That's
Cindy,
okay.
and he's like, I got something for you. I
Yeah.
thought he was about to like pull out a rose and go against what he said because he had such a good time.
Oh, that would have been good.
And I was like, oh my God. Okay,
He-
Cindy front runner. And then I
yeah.
was like, oh, it's a star, which is still cute. I'm like, okay, that's good.
It was
Um,
cute.
but like to jump back, when Cindy found out that she was the one getting to go, she got really emotional.
Yeah.
I think part of it for her was her like empathetic side, because she had that conversation with Carol and they
Totally
were both kind
agree.
of bonded over it.
Yep, yep.
I felt similar on my season where I was almost more excited and emotional for everybody else but myself, which I
I
knew
know
was
the
a little
feeling.
bit of a problem. But
Yeah.
on there, you could tell Cindy was just like excited for herself, but sad for Carol. And it's like it's a weird mix of emotions, especially getting to
Yeah.
that point.
And that was such a good point because she handled it in such a classy way. She didn't jump up and go, "Oh my God, I got the date, I got the date," or like
Yep.
some people do. She just sat there really quietly and
Like how
just was
Nicole might have.
like very. I didn't say it, you did.
Hey, it's okay. Somebody's got to.
I know. Thank you for saying it because I was thinking at it. I mean, I just felt like she was really classy and she was very kind to everybody, and I just think that's kind of like her demeanor anyway, which makes me like her even more.
No, she seems like a sweetheart. She seems
Yeah,
like a
really,
sweetheart.
a really good person. So they go on the group date.
Yep.
So when I see Mel sitting up here on this, I think it's called Butterfly Mountain, something
Yep. Yep.
Butterfly
Butterfly Mountain.
Mountain Resort or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
here in LA, actually.
Yeah, I know it looks
Yep.
beautiful. And I see him sitting up there and I'm like, oh God, here we go on one of these weird, awkward dates that I don't know. I feel like we do them every Bachelor season. I'm like, oh God, here we go again, making these people say about these intimate, weird details about themselves. It's
Yep.
so uncomfortable. And here we are, and he has
I
five
will
of them
say
to do it with.
ideal date though, ideal group date is
Uh-huh.
everybody gets their own thing to do with you. You know
Very
what I mean?
true.
Because it's almost like a big setting of one-on-ones.
Yeah, you're right. You're so
Whether
right
they're
about that.
like 10 minutes each or 20 minutes each, you're getting your own time with him, which is actually really, really cool,
It's
especially
actually smart.
that late
You're
into
you're
it.
right. You're right. You're right. So they start out by doing the shaman, whose name was Danny, comes in.
To Shaman Danny.
Shaman
I
Danny
was
is
saying.
here to make you do some uncomfortable things. So everybody sit
Yep.
down and get ready to say something really intimate about yourself in front of
Yep.
everybody and national TV. But this first one was kind of easy, and you were supposed to write something on this little incense thing that you need to let go, or something about like some emotion that like you need to let go of or something.
Yep.
And Debbie said kind of like been her whole mantra for this whole season was like the hopelessness that she'd given up on giving finding love at this
Yep.
age. So she said that, but then both Peg and Carol said that they felt unworthy. And you look at both of them and they're just so beautiful and so successful. And
Yep.
you wonder how like people, even on the show, because it takes a lot of bravery and a lot of self-confidence to come on the show, ever feel unworthy. So that was
Hmm.
like I was very surprised to hear that from people. Like,
Yeah, it is. It's weird. I mean, it's also like a reoccurring theme too that I think the show does like to bring on is like that's a feeling that's relatable. You know what I mean? It's
yep,
one
so
of those
true.
things that the audience can connect with, and I think
Mm-hmm.
seeing it in the older generations too, you're like, wow, like
Yeah.
sometimes it just never goes away. Even when you've had somebody and it comes to an end, that feeling still stays there, and it's a scary yet reassuring thing that you can just
Yeah.
it's easy to get behind them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
cheer them on and hope that they get over that feeling or that they feel chosen at the end.
Yeah,
Um,
I
so
know. And
it's
that whole thing about feeling chosen at the end, and then it makes you even more worried about them. So once they say the word unworthy, you're like, oh God, I hope they choose you. I hope he chooses you. Well, two people
yeah.
said it. I'm like, now what? Because you feel like, gosh, I want this to be your worthy moment and for
Yep.
you to let go of that. And you know, we
It
don't
could
know who he
either be the
chooses at this
greatest thing
point,
that's
but you
ever
don't know.
happened to you, or it could just prey
Yeah.
on your insecurities all
Just
the
there
way
it is
through.
again. Here we are. Oh gosh.
Right? Also,
Whenever we do those things, I always wonder like what I would have said. What would you have said if they said that to you? Like, what is your one thing that you need to let go of? Now I'm totally putting you on your spot. I need a shaman here. Call me Shaman
one thing
Joan.
that I think if it were me, it would have been purely internal. I don't really worry about like external like validation or judgment.
Mm-hmm.
It would have
Yep.
been something along the lines of like forgiving myself for something in the past. And I'm
Yeah.
not sure what that exact thing would have been, but something
Mm-hmm.
that allows for me to move forward. And I
Yeah.
think
Letting go of something.
honestly, Mel's is a good answer. He just said friction. I
Friction.
think
I know.
for him,
Interesting.
I think his was internal friction from
Yeah.
everything that's happened up until that point, which was actually a really good answer. Because you
I
don't really
think
see too many moments from him that he's like diving deep. Like I said, he's a very stoic man. He doesn't really like
I
say too
know.
much. So when he's
It,
like saying something that's the word friction deep, no, but the way he went
right.
about saying it and doing it, it was a deep
Yeah.
answer, and you can tell he actually thought into that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I feel like that is a reoccurring theme also with him because I think on his date with Nicole, he had said something similar, like what to let go of, and it was, I don't think it was friction, but it was something like, like tension or turmoil or something. I have it written down.
Yep.
I'll look
Yep.
at my notes. But he said something also. So boy, there's a theme that, and we're not hearing a lot from Mel, right? We don't know really that much about him,
Nope.
but there is some kind of friction happening or was happening in his life that you can definitely tell exists because that seems to be his theme a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, even just with these one words. So we did like learn a little bit about everybody, even in that little kind of insignificant, not big moment. But then they finally got their one-on-ones. And Peg was the first one, and I just wanted to die for her. But she's such a good sport and is so fun. That's when they
Yep.
had to go into the mud bath. I'd been like, please don't make me do
Oh
that.
yeah.
That's so gross. It's
I
gonna get
love
my hair
Peg so
dirty.
much.
And she's such a good sport and
Such a
so
good sport.
fun. And she didn't care at all. In fact, she's like, this is right up my alley. This is so fun. And like, I think half the girls would have been like, oh, gross. I don't want to go in there. That's
Hmm.
mud. Yep.
Yeah, it
So that
felt
was
like
an
it was like
interesting one.
right up her alley. She honestly too. I mean, what is she not good at? I was watching episode 1 when she was just like explaining all the things that she's. I was like, what the? Like what?
I
You're a
know.
what, is she?
She's had
She
such an
said
interesting
fireman.
life. Yeah. And then bomb person. She like
Oh, that's
defuses
right. That's
bombs.
right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like a reserve fireman. She also diffused bombs for the
Yeah.
police force for years, and then
Yeah.
she happens to be good at everything else. Like you brought
Everything
if
else she
anything
did.
that was brought up, she's like, "Oh yeah, I've done that." And you're like,
Oh yeah. I
"Oh
mean, at the
yeah,
fair, like
same."
she beat him at every game. I think like, a good thing he has a pretty big ego because most guys would have been like slinking away home, like sulking. He was
Yeah.
like, wow, you're good at everything. And he kind of embraced it and liked it, which was actually showed me something good about him. Again, just these little things that you see that he's
Yep.
impressed that she's better at things than him is kind of charming.
I think honestly, like I'm a very competitive guy too. As like a fellow competitive guy,
Yeah.
I love when there's a woman that I bring around that can beat me and stuff. Like if you
Okay.
talk a little shit, you're really good at what you do, and you can kind of like put me in my place. Like nothing makes me eat that up more than like when they can come in
Okay.
and do that to my
Is that
life.
right? Because it makes Chalk sulk a little bit. When I beat him at tennis and I did a couple other things. Cornhole, he's like, all right, you're better at it.
Yeah, Chalk's sitting there, he's
Fine.
like, ah, my
Fine.
shoulders acted up
Yeah,
today.
yeah. It was, that wasn't on my game.
Yeah, right. I don't think we've seen him open up. Like internally. Wow, I just stuttered so bad. He's opened up about his own like internal self, but not his
Hmm.
feelings towards these women yet.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And I
know,
don't
I
think he
don't think he's
really
given
does.
anybody real reassurance. He's waited for them to say something and agreed. I don't think he's
Yeah.
really taken a chance to be like, hey, I want to let you know I really, really see
Yeah.
something with you going all the way.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
And by
it may
this
save
point, a
him because
lot of
he's not
times
over
people have,
promising. You know what I mean? A
which is
lot of people get in
smart.
trouble because they do that.
Yeah, I know. But I do feel like at this point, when there's only like six left, you're usually getting a feeling from the mains, like like you usually get an idea about who they're really liking. And I have no idea. Like from the beginning, I thought this was Cheryl's to lose because she had that first date and it went really
Yep.
well. But now I'm like, I'm not sure if Cheryl's not in last place at this point. And I usually don't feel like that. I usually feel like the person that gets the first date, like things grow a lot deeper because they had more time in the beginning and now they have
Yeah.
like things to build on. So I'm not really feeling that way about Cheryl. But I also am like so interested in all the interviews that are happening kind of sprinkled in this date, like after this date. And one of them again was Nicole. And she's like having a conversation with other women who are not on this part of the date. And she's like, I'm feeling a lot of negative energy and a lot of insecurities from these other women. And I'm feeling like that is making me feel more confident. And she's like, and I'm really in tune to people's negative energy. And so it's giving me confidence that I really am, that Mel really is going to pick me. And I'm like, you are so confused. I feel like she's so not in tune
Yeah.
with the way things really are.
Yeah, I don't think that she realizes that everybody's picking up on her energy as much as like she let
Hmm.
on. Like she said everything that she did, and all the girls are like, yeah, we know why you're here. And they're just
Hmm.
I just have a feeling they're not fans. So she's
Yeah.
taking their negative energy as like, oh, like they're competitive, like they just are trying to get my man. When it's like, no, they just don't like the reason that you're here, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. They're
it's
feeling
nothing
negative about
against
you.
who you are, what you're doing. It's completely what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
that's the reason that that negative energy is there.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
she's just I don't think she's thought internally enough about what she said,
Yeah.
and she didn't hold her cards close enough to like if that's your intent, we
She's
know
not
it
able to.
happens on this show. We know it
Yeah.
happens. People come on for the wrong reasons all the
All the
time.
time.
It's
But the
2025. You know,
but
it's
the
gonna
thing that
happen.
but it's so weird because it's not really true in Golden's. So like, like Gary's season was so pure. Like none of us had a clue about Instagram. We knew nothing. My season's so pure. Like the guys were not there to be Instagram, people. I feel like almost
No,
all
not
the
at
women
all.
here, if not
Not
all of the
at
women,
all.
not at all. Like you can't even find them on Instagram hardly. I mean, a
No.
few of them, but like really not at all. So when you look at these women, I feel like most of them are here really for the right reason. I feel like Nicole is a little bit of a out, kind of she's out there on her own right now. I feel like in that respect.
Oh, and they say it too. They outwardly say it. She's when are they like sitting all in a group, and she's saying something along maybe they're at a table. I can't remember the exact moment, but Nicole
Just there at the
says like,
kitchen.
"Oh, I'm
Yeah.
looking to like monetize like my workout program, whatever. And
No,
then
her cooking,
her cooking thing. That's
her
right.
cooking.
And
She
then,
wants to be like a vegetarian cook or something.
yep. And then it's like, it's either Cindy, Carol, or Cheryl. Too many C names. One of them goes, I'm
What
just
is
looking
this?
for a nice man. I'm just looking for a nice man. And I was like,
I know. I'm just
that
looking
was
for a
her
good guy.
giving you a hint.
I
Like,
think it was
don't
Carol.
say crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't take hints, and she is not very self-aware at all. So then we go on to the date with Cheryl, who now I'm thinking, like, used to have this really great relationship with him, and now I'm thinking it's really faded a lot. But we're not knowing what exactly we're not seeing on TV. Obviously, they're having interactions off the screen. And again, Mel is in a bathing suit, and he's going for a cold plunge this time. I'm like, they're putting Mel in a bathing suit a lot. I think they really, really like his physique, so he gets
He's in good shape
a lot
for
of
his
tummy
age.
time. I know, it looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But she really doesn't want to do it. Like, she's
No.
like, I don't want to do this. This is freezing cold. This isn't my idea of a good time. But she has to do it. We all know she has to do it. So she does it. I don't feel like it's a particularly interesting date to me. I feel like
No.
they're in there. He looks cold. She looks cold. It's supposed to clear your mind and allow your feelings to take over or something. I don't really
Which is
see
the
that.
last thing. Have you ever done a cold plunge?
Oh yeah, it's miserable.
The
Miserable.
last thing it does is clear your mind. All you
Yeah.
can think about is like keeping
Has it-
yourself alive. You're like,
has it
dude,
been
this
3
is
minutes
too
yet?
damn You literally, you're like,
Like, this is the longest 3 minutes of my life.
yeah.
I know,
Can we
my
get out of
bones
here,
are
please?
hurting,
Thank
and
you.
I just want to get out of here. I
Yeah.
know, and she's trying to be like a good sport and not act like a baby, but she is like really doesn't want to be in there, and I totally get it. I wouldn't want to go to the mud thing, and I certainly wouldn't want to go to the cold plunge, and I've done one before, so I'm like, no, thank you. But I do feel like, she comes out. Mel says it gives you clarity. He's really buying into all this stuff. He bought into the mud thing. He's buying into this cold plunge. Like, he's kind of into it, like in a bigger
Yeah.
way than any of the women I feel like are.
Yep.
I feel like the women are all less into it, except for maybe Debbie, and we'll talk about her next. But anyway, I feel like Cheryl wants to say, like, this cleared her mind, so it gives her a lead in to say how she's feeling about him.
Mhm.
And she kind of fesses up that she has really strong feelings with him, and then she kind of hesitates and says, like, I'm falling in love with you. And what does he do? The classic, I really appreciate that. And that's like death. You can't. If he says that to you, you should get up and walk out and self-eliminate, because
I'm
never
kind of
good.
maybe reading into this though too, and you got to think about what this show does. You know what I mean? Like, every time there's a clear front runner, which she was in the beginning.
Yep.
She got the first one-on-one.
Yep.
Her story was one of the ones that just like made me a tearjerker. I
know. I loved her, how she let go of that, being mad at him. She's a saint. He left her in the hospital with a new baby, and she
and then
forgave
disappeared
him.
for a year, and then
Stole the child.
kidnapped their child for a week.
I know, but yet she's like, I want them to have a relationship, so I'm going to forgive him.
And then he dies.
And then he died. I know.
I'm like, this is just
seriously. I was like, really?
Yeah, insane.
I know.
It's a movie. It's a literal movie.
It is, and you're cheering her on.
Yes, but they have an amazing relationship up until this point. And like, I know for a fact this happened with Joey and Kelsey too, where Joey was so locked in on Kelsey that like they had to be like you got to give these other girls a chance. Like, you can't just be like, no, this one now done.
Don't
you know.
Anymore.
And this could be one of those cases where it's like maybe he does feel so strongly about Cheryl that like they're not showing that side of it, so that we don't know. Maybe they're playing into it a little bit.
But in this moment, like, I believed that all up until this moment when he said, I really appreciate that. But then he kind of went back a little bit, and he said, like, I had strong feelings for you on our first date, and those haven't gone away. And then she said, I really like for you to come to Colorado and meet my family. Or he said, what would a hometown look like? She said, you come to Colorado and meet my family. And he says, I really like to come to Colorado. So he's kind of leading her on now.
Yeah.
He's bringing her back in, and
she's
feeling
for
good.
Sure.
Yep. And then he does the date with Debbie. And Debbie's date was the one that would have made me so uncomfortable, because they do the tantric yoga.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know what it is,
like,
but I could tell by that first pose that
you kind of just you just kind of hold each other in like
hold each other like, okay, it was really odd. And like, she has to straddle to him in the first one, and I'm like, okay, this is really uncomfortable. Yet they were so comfortable, which gives me was starting to give me a hint Like, I was thinking about rose ceremony all through this episode, like really watching them to figure out who's
Yeah.
going to get a rose. And I kind of got a hint that maybe she was going to get a rose because they were so easy and so comfortable together. But I also just can't figure out his type. They're so different. Every one of these girls is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, possibly Cheryl and Cindy are a little the same, but I feel like everybody else, Peg is a live wire. Debbie has never been married before and is just so genuine and sweet and just wants to have love so
She's one of
badly.
those
And
ones that blows my mind.
yeah,
She blows my mind with that because
I
she's
agree.
stunning too.
So cute. She's got a
Even
little
the younger pictures
dimple.
they showed, I was like,
I know.
if she was
Like, even,
my age, and I would shoot my
yeah.
shot. I would be like, okay,
I know,
yep,
I know. You,
100%.
like, just like you and April, on
Yeah.
on Paradise.
Yeah, I know. April's my
I
girl.
know.
I love April.
I know.
But I do see what you're saying to Debbie. I think the attraction, the physical attraction is there
Is really good, but it
with
also
Debbie
goes
for
past
sure.
that. I feel like they have like a really good rapport. So
Yeah.
I felt like after that date, I felt worse about Cheryl. I felt better about Debbie, and I ended up being right about that. But
Yep.
like I loved that Debbie could possibly be the one that she's finding love with him
It
because
would be
she's
such an
never.
amazing story.
It would be the best story because there's so few people. Like, that's one of the things, like when you become a widow, like I did at my age,
Mhm.
it's very lonely. There's very few single people out there. All your friends are couples. So I can see her. She's been traveling this road for a lot of years of not
Yeah.
being a couple. And it's hard. It's actually really, really, really lonely. But he
It's
said that
similar
he
to my
would love
mom.
to
That's
meet her
why I
family.
get to it.
Oh, is that right?
I've never seen my mom married. And it's those are one of those stories that I just like I connect
She
to, and I want to
she
see
needs
her
to be
win.
on this. She needs to be on the show.
Yeah, I know. She's a
Okay.
very entertaining
We'll
woman
talk.
too.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's see
she's
if
your
we can
mother,
get her on one.
obviously. So Nicole and he went on
We should have
this.
started with Nicole because
We
there's a
should have
lot
started.
to
There's
say.
so much to say. So much to say and like so not much to say. Because
Yeah.
when it comes to she and Mel, there is like really nothing. But he came in and like his commentary was like, Nicole's one of my favorites because she made me lemon bars. And I'm like, I don't think he could think of anything else to say about her. And that's when
No,
he
I
said
think
that.
he likes that she is all over him too. At least
Yeah.
from early on, she was just like all over him. And like as a guy in this scenario, you
Yeah.
have to go off of like any cue you can get. And it seems like for
True.
her, hers is very physical. So he's like, you know what? Hell yeah. Like this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like
And
I'm a divorced dude and I'll take some physical
beautiful.
attention.
Yeah, and it
she's
makes-
stunning
yeah.
and she's all into me. Done.
makes me feel good about myself, makes me feel confident, like I'm a good looking guy. This beautiful woman is really attracted to me. So all this is good. I
Yep.
do feel a little like that was okay in the beginning. It was uncomfortable watching it. Like when they were in the pool, I was like, I need to turn this off. This is uncomfortable. I actually had
Yeah.
my grandson laying in bed with me and he was trying to fall asleep. And I'm like, you can't watch this. Like
Yeah.
he's only
Close
5.
your eyes.
I was like, yeah, you shouldn't see this. So I did feel uncomfortable, but the fact that it never grew from the physical part of it, it was, I think, the biggest problem in the long run. And but so they did the thing where they had to turn over a card and they were supposed to like feel the energy from the card, and they turned it over and it said witness. And then the shaman said, the witness observes things but doesn't take action. What have you observed in your life but you haven't taken action about? And Nicole very fittingly says, my fear of not being stable. And we're like, yeah, no shit. So I was like, yeah, we know that you have a stability issue. And she talks about that later in the episode, but okay, stability was the issue. And then Mel says, okay, I wrote it down because it was something that I thought was really weird. Stress. So he had already talked about like friction, and now he's talking about stress. I'm like, we have a theme going on here right now.
Oh yeah.
And we're learning a little bit about Mel. But I don't know if we're ever going to learn any more about this, but there's something happening in his life that is causing him stress and friction. So I wish we would hear the rest of that, but so far we haven't. But maybe eventually we will. Maybe
It's got to be
who knows?
something from the previous marriage, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you're in this scenario where
positive.
dating is the number one thing. It's got to be something along the lines of that.
It's got to be because it seems like his kids are in good places. So like so far,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah,
all
I
I've
met
really
them
seen.
too at the Rams
Oh,
game
yeah.
when he had like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
getting honored. They were nice.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were quiet,
Chuck
but
was
they
there,
were
too.
nice. They were good
They're
kids.
nice kids. Yeah, they seem like
Yeah.
really good kids. But they finally are out of that weird shaman thing, and they are talking, and he says to her, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yep.
And instead of saying, you know, I want to have a companion and I want to travel and I want to build a life with somebody and, you know, whatever, I love being a couple, she talks about her cookbook. and she talks about her financial situation. My dad
Isn't she
says I
talking
don't
about her
have enough
apartment?
money. Yeah. My dad says I don't have enough money. That she's like, I want to be, I want to author this cookbook. And and my apartment is too small, but you live in this nice house, and I'd really like to live closer to the ocean. Like implying that she's ready to move in with him just to make her life better because
Yeah.
she lives in a small apartment. She obviously doesn't have any money.
Yep.
So that's when he finally, in an interview, says, I think I see some red flags here. And
Yeah.
maybe this was what Robin was talking about
Yeah. Yep.
back like an
Well,
episode ago.
also that it didn't throw him off when she's like, "Just give me a kiss, like just for the camera."
Just for the camera.
That little cutaway? It was
That was
like
really
just like
weird.
a little moment that just said a lot more than just the three little like for the camera.
You are so right. Just for the
You
camera.
know what I mean?
And why would she say
I
that
don't
anyway? Because like supposedly she was into it. So I don't know.
right?
So let's just move on from her because I think we all know how we feel about her. And if somebody
Yep.
in the entire world thinks anything differently, like she's there for the right intentions, like you
True.
need
Also,
to. Yeah,
devil's
it's
advocate,
confusing.
super quick before we move on too.
Yep.
I know for a fact, especially now that I've been like out there dating, there's a lot of
Yeah.
women like that though. There are a lot
Yeah.
of women that will relate to that as well. That are like
Mhm.
they do want to find somebody where they feel as if they will be taken care of for the rest of their days. You know
Sure,
what I
and
mean?
as you
And
get,
it's not an
and it's true.
insane feeling. You're just not in the right
Very
setting
true.
to be acting and speaking on it in that way. You
Yeah,
know?
and that just seems to be the only reason why she's there. Like she doesn't seem to care about the way he feels or the way she feels about him. It's all like getting to the end where she gets to live in a nice house near the ocean. It seems to me. So then the last date with Carol, and that like I kind of felt sorry for both of them. Carol said she was having a really hard time settling down. She's feeling this angst. I think she's probably going over the script in her head, saying,
Yep.
I gotta say goodbye. Even if this goes really well, which it generally doesn't because it's a lot of individual, like all of these are kind of individual, like,
Yep. Yep.
thinking about yourself and about things you need to let go of. So theirs was a very nondescript date, other than both of them had to talk about something from their childhood that was bad. And Mel said friendship, which I was so surprised, like that he wished he could give his, younger self was friendship. And that sounded so weird because I felt like he came from this, cool neighborhood in Detroit in like his original package from the first episode. Looks like he was like the popular guy in the neighborhood. And
Yeah.
I was really surprised to say that. And then Carol said something like connection
Yeah.
and touch. And that maybe she hadn't like felt that as she was growing up, which seemed very very unusual. But the big part of this date was her self-eliminating, her saying like,
Yeah.
I originally saying, I don't think you're where you need to be. You're not going to pick me to go in a hometown. It sounded like what she was saying. But then in her interview, she kind of backtracked on that a little bit. And she says, I just don't think Mel's my guy.
Yeah.
And that kind of put it back on her that she was taking more of the responsibility for like, I didn't connect with him, not that he didn't connect with me. And I like that. It, gives her the power.
Yeah, I think in any scenario where like maybe something doesn't work out, you never should just blame the other person. It takes two people
Yeah.
to make a connection. It also takes two
Mhm.
people to split up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it is what it is. And I think rather than just being like, he didn't choose me, he's not this, he's not that, she's just like, you know what? I don't feel a connection, and clearly he doesn't enough either to choose me for the one-on-one, and that's
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
My person is out there somewhere,
Yep.
and I'm gonna go find them.
Yeah.
And
I felt
there's no animosity behind it. There was nothing.
no.
There's no anger, and
Nope.
he understood. He goes, "Hey, I respect you, and I respect that you stick to your word, and that you have to do what you got to do because
Yep.
I
And that
get
she's
it."
brave enough to do that.
Yep,
Because sometimes they
100%.
just, I think that there are sometimes other women feel like maybe the guy or the girl isn't theirs, but they go all the way to the rose ceremony and they, let the person do the hard job of not picking them. I like it when the people give themselves the power. I mean, if you don't feel like you're connecting, then you should go ahead and self-eliminate. There's nothing wrong with it. Take
Yeah.
take the power back.
Hey, we love a strong woman. Don't give him the
Yep.
power. Come on now.
That's right. I agree with you. So now we finally get to see Cindy on a date,
Yep.
who I've been dying to see on a date. I can't believe it came down to the last one-on-one. I thought
Yep.
she would have gotten a date 1,000 times more. But here we are, the last one-on-one, and she is so grateful to have it. And I love that. That was kind of her sentiment.
grateful. And she was
Like,
so cute in her little
happy.
boots too. She's
Oh
like,
my God.
this
she's
is a
all-
hike. This dude was not the right shoe choice. And then shows up and then it's horses and she's like, fuck yeah,
Did
I
it.
got cowboy boots on. We're about
I
to whip
got
Texas
cowboy
around
boots on.
LA.
I
Yeah, she's
know.
ready to go.
I love her. And I think that he loves like her Texas spirit, that she
Hmm.
comes in cowboy boots and these cute shorts and she just has a cute figure and she's adorable and she looks awesome in those cowboy boots and she's just owning the whole Texas. And it kind of
Oh
sets her
yeah,
apart from everybody else. Everybody else is, kind of dressing the same. She's doing her thing. She's doing her Texas girl thing. So I
for
think he likes
sure.
that. He likes a little bit of that spunk. And we can see that he likes spunk because he really likes it in Peg. So I'm glad Cindy's bringing a little bit of that into the whole thing. So they
Yep.
take the horses up to the
Griffith
observatory,
Observatory.
which was beautiful, and they had
Best
cute
view in
little
LA.
banter going up there. I'm dying to go there, so next time I'm coming, I'm calling you. We're going to go
We'll
up
hit a
to
hike.
Griffith Park. I really
100%.
want to go. I would love to do that.
Please
Um,
do. Yeah, on the
but
horses, that was one of my favorite moments from the whole like
yeah,
episode too. Is like
Mhm.
he's this guy. Yeah, I played football. Like I'm not gonna get intimidated by a damn
And he
horse.
can't get the
He's
horse to
riding
go.
along. You could see the like panic on his face, and he's like, "Nope, not
He's like,
me."
no, I'm not
And
scared.
she's
I'm
sitting there
good.
watching him. She's like, "Okay, big guy. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she's
No,
just
I'm
riding
gonna let you do your
along.
thing." She's
I
having the
know.
grand old time, just laughing her ass off at him internally,
I
knowing that he's
know.
like kind of petrified.
So they finally get up to the top, and we finally get to know Cindy. Like
Yep.
she talks about her past and that she had a failed marriage, which came as a surprise to her. Um, and she talked about her daughters and talked about how hard it was. And I feel like we finally got to know, like she was the perfect Cindy up until now. And then you get to see the vulnerable side of her. I don't
Yeah.
think that he though joined in. Like that would have been a perfect opportunity because he had a failed marriage to talk about his, and he
Yep.
didn't talk about his struggles, didn't talk about raising those sons, without the wife. I mean, I know that they had shared custody, but still, it felt like an opportunity for them to really connect on that, and it didn't happen. I was a little disappointed. But in the end of the whole thing, I felt like they had a really good connection. First of all, there was a lot of making out. So the physical connection
Yeah.
was there. I felt like I'm like, finally she gets to kiss him. And it sounds like when she was talking to him on that date, she said, I talked about being a biomedical engineer and a cheerleader and a valedictorian. She goes, but I got,
Such a
the
badass.
yeah, it's such a badass, right? I know I'm dying to talk to her, and we're talking to her for the next episode. But I feel like she has all these successes in her life, but then she had a failed marriage, and that's that's what's sticking in her right now.
Yep.
So I love that she got to talk about it. I wish he had opened up about his, but in the long run, I feel like they had a really good connection. So I was going into this rose ceremony thinking I knew who he was going to choose. I, I I felt bad when Carol self-eliminated because she was kind of on my list of maybe a maybe.
Yeah.
Um, but I knew he wasn't going to choose Nicole.
Nope.
So then it just came down to a couple. So
Which
let's
she
talk about
handled surprisingly well,
yeah.
which I was kind of shocked about. I could have easily saw her like maybe having a little fit or a tiff where it was
You,
like,
I didn't think she handled it well at all. I
I don't
thought she
know,
was
but
so inappropriate when she came out to the limousine. So he said, "Can I walk you out?" And so they walk out to the limousine. And what does she say? I wrote it down so I could quote this. Okay. She says, if it doesn't work out with the one you pick, and it probably won't, then call me. And then she said, I really mean that. That was terrible.
okay, see, I imagined her going in a direction of like, fuck you, like this isn't.
Oh,
You should have
okay.
picked me. Like you messed up.
You
That's
dumb
like I
shit.
was
Yeah.
the one that was here for you. I'm fully like invested in you, not
Yeah.
all these other
Or
women
like,
are.
look at me. I'm prettier than everybody. Like,
Yeah,
that's like she
I
would
could
have
have
said
seen
something
something like that, but for her to
Yeah.
just be like, okay, that's fine. Watch
All right.
watch it fail. Watch it
fail.
get
It's
messed
going to
up.
fail. Yeah.
I'll be here. I'll be here.
I'll be here. You call me. Okay, so he picks his three. So he picks Cindy. He picks her first. I always wonder if the order makes a difference. I don't know. He picked Peg second, and then he picked Debbie third. So Cheryl didn't get a rose, and Nicole didn't get a rose. And so I kind of thought that maybe Cheryl might not get a rose, and I kind of thought that Nicole might not get a rose. Well, I know Nicole wasn't going to get a rose, but I thought Cheryl might not. But I kind of, in my mind, it was between Cheryl and Peg.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure he was going to give Peg a rose. So I love his final three. I think that they are all so different.
Hey, sometimes
I don't
gonna
know.
be so fun.
Like,
So
what's
much
his
fun.
type? I can't figure out his type. So, and then, okay, Nicole already campaigning. Maybe I'll be the next Golden Bachelorette.
Yeah, I mean,
Seriously, Nicole?
if there was a list of like a multiple choice of things that I thought she might say in her car ride home, that would have been my first choice. So
Of course.
I'm
She's
like,
campaigning already.
that was more on brand for what I thought she might try to say.
We should now move on because
Move on.
it's time for this podcast to end. I mean, it was so fun being here talking through episode
Yep.
5 because I thought it was a great episode and I love recapping it with you. So let's say goodbye to everybody. Bye, Bachelor
Bye,
Nation.
everybody.
And we will be back with our interview with Cindy.
Yeah, can't wait.